All right. So we're starting lying down, any comfortable shape for you on the earth. And I invite you here to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your diaphragm. And take a moment here to connect. Notice what you're feeling in your body and in your heart. Notice the sensation of your breath and just check in with the quality of your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Quick or slow? Maybe it's jagged or catching somewhere, and maybe it's smooth. So just allowing this to be a moment to establish where you are starting your practice today. No judgment, just notice. So our class this week is based on water. Last week was earth. So first a quote to begin. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. So that's Rumi. As water dances through your limbs, as it flows, moves, and morphs, it reminds us that flow is our natural state. Moving the body in rhythm, going with the flow, and learning to let go are ways to honor the water element within. We always have a choice to swim against the tide, to cling on to the bank, or to float in synchronicity with our life. To go with the flow means to accept your life as it is unfolding. It doesn't mean that we don't have daily annoyances and situations that we resist. It's just that we become better at identifying the places that are gritty and stuck. If we examine these places with curiosity, we may find a teaching or a gift. Is it possible that the places you are most stuck are the places where you have the most valuable lesson? Is it possible that where you don't want to flow is where you need to? Some days our life will seem like a riptide, where you are dragged up and down through choppy waters. On other days, it may be gentle, a clear blue day where you float seamlessly through life. Be open to all of them and go with the flow. All right, so taking deep inhales in through the nose into the diaphragm and long, slow exhales out. Making some small movements in fingers and toes. All right, and then let's start here with a moving bridge because it wouldn't be a water class without a bridge, right? So feet come to the earth, knees are bent, feet are hip distance apart. Whenever you're ready, pushing your feet into the earth, lift the hips, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes, and then exhale to lower. So if you wish, bringing the arms into this movement, lifting the hips, arms reach up and back behind you, fingernails to the earth. And then lowering the hips, lowering the arms back down by your side. Moving with your own breath. And if Ujjayi breath, that ocean sounding breath, or otherwise known as Darth Vader breath, if that's in your practice, feel free to find it. So it's that constriction in the back of the throat. So when we exhale, it's like we're fogging up a mirror, but with our mouths closed. And then when you inhale, making the same constriction at the back of the throat, making an ocean sounding breath. Let's do 2 more here. And then let's hug both knees in towards the chest, rocking either from side to side, maybe making circles with the knees. And then rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. And gently making your way up to seated and right into tabletop. In our tabletop, our wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, gripping the fingers into the earth and slightly cupping the hands. And we're going to find just some organic movement here. So maybe it's making circles here with the hips. Maybe it's making some waves with the body. Move in whatever way your body is calling for. All right, let's come back to our tabletop. And then we're going to come into a tiger crunch or table crunch. So whenever you're ready, we're going to send the right foot up towards the sky with a bent knee. We want to squeeze that right glute as we push the foot up towards the sky, allowing the belly to drop down towards the earth, kind of like if you were in a cow pose. And then like you're in a cat pose, round the spine, but draw the knee in towards the chest, push away from the earth, pull the belly button in. Sending that right foot back behind you up towards the sky. And then round. Let's do this a few more times. Move with your own breath. Where is it more comfortable to inhale? And where is it more comfortable to exhale? Maybe you find that Ujjayi breath. Okay. Finishing up this last one here. And then coming to tabletop. And we're going to make our way over to that tiger crunch on the other side. Left foot comes up towards the sky. Activate the left foot. And round the spine, knee towards the chest. And again, on this side, moving with your own breath. As we round our spine, drawing the knee in, we really want to pull that belly button in, almost as if there's a string pulling it up towards the sky. Okay, one more here. Or finishing up your last one. And then tabletop. Okay, we're gonna come into a child's pose. So any variation that feels good for you could be knees together, knees apart, sitting the hips back. Maybe the arms come out long. Take a couple rounds of breath. Notice what you feel in your body. Notice how the breath feels in this shape. Allow the breath to flow like water. One continuous loop. Feeling the water or the breath move in and move out. One more round of breath. And then making your way back into your tabletop pose. From table, we're going to step the right foot back behind us. Toes come down to the earth. We're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch here. Maybe you rock back and forth. You might feel it in the calf. You might feel it somewhere else. All right, and then we're gonna cross the right foot over to the left side, looking over the left shoulder. Coming back to tabletop. And then over to the other side, left foot steps back, curling the toes under and rocking back and forth. Or maybe you hang out in the stretch. All right, allowing the left foot to cross over towards the right side, looking over the right shoulder. And making your way back into your tabletop. We're gonna shift our weight forward, tuck the elbows and lower all the way to the earth. We'll find a baby cobra here, shoulders roll back and down the spine, the elbows in by the sides, tops of the feet push down to the earth. Lift the heart, but look down at the earth. Exhale to lower. We'll make our way into tabletop. And then curling the toes under, coming into downward dog. All right, so downward dog. Maybe you pedal out your feet, or maybe you take a deep bend in the knees if that's what you need. Shoulders roll back and down the spine. All right, let's shift our way back into our tabletop pose. And if you have a block or two nearby, feel free to grab the blocks. We're gonna move through a lunge pranayama. So in our lunge pranayama, we come into a tabletop and we'll step the right foot through to begin. And we just wanna bring the blocks close by so that you can grab them. This will bring the earth up closer to you in case you need it as we move. So we're gonna start first with just this low lunge here on the earth. Left knee is on the earth, right knee is over the ankle in line with the second or third toe. We're gonna use this for a little more of a stretch. So sink and settle the left side down. So at any point, if you feel discomfort in the back foot on whatever side that we come on. If it's more comfortable for you, you can always curl the toes under. One more round of breath here. And then if you wish, grabbing your blocks, slowly walking the blocks back, extending that front leg, toes point up towards the sky. And then slowly walking your hands forward. So we're just going to move back and forth here. Maybe you move with your breath. Maybe you just kind of find a timing that feels good. You may even hang out here in one of the stretches. Also, there's a dog in here with me. So if at any point you hear something, that's my dog. He just snored, so that's what reminded me. All right, so the next time you come back, extending the right leg long, keep the right foot active, and then drop the toes towards the right side. All right, toes come back up towards the sky. Slowly shifting your weight forward, come into that lunge. And then we're going to keep the toes on the earth this time, or at least the foot. Maybe the toes will come up a little bit. We're going to walk back. So this is more for a stretch along the front of the ankle. And slowly walking the blocks forward. Releasing the blocks to the side. Let's come into tabletop and into downward facing dog. Again, find any movements here that feels good for you and your body. This time, shifting your weight forward, coming into a plank pose. Tuck the elbows in, shift a little bit more, and then lower to the earth. All right, so maybe it's baby cobra, sphinx pose, or full cobra, wherever you wish to be. Shoulders roll back and down the spine. And exhale to lower. We'll make our way back into our tabletop pose. And this time, stepping the left foot forward between the hands. Find your blocks again. We're going to feel just that sinking here into the earth or towards the earth. Again, option to curl the back toes under. It's a little more pressure on that back knee. So if you have a blanket, you can always place that underneath the back knee. One more round of breath. And then slowly walking back, extending the left toes up towards the sky. Activate the foot. And then we're going to flow. So flowing back and forth between that lunge and half split. One more time. And whenever you're ready, coming back into the half splits, activating the left foot and allowing the toes to drop out towards the left side. Allowing the toes to come back to center, walking yourself forward into that lunge, the low lunge. And then we're going to keep the left foot on the earth rather than allowing the toes to point up towards the sky as we walk our blocks back. Activate the left foot, so slightly curl back the toes. And walking your blocks forward once again. Placing the blocks to the side, we'll find tabletop and downward dog. From here, we'll find a three-legged dog. So allowing the right foot to come up towards the sky. Maybe you bend the right knee and open the hips towards the right side of the mat, and then re-square your shoulders towards the earth. You might look underneath the left armpit towards the right foot. Making your way back to that three-legged dog, the right foot reaches high. And then slowly coming back to your downward dog. Let's shift our weight forward into a plank pose. Shift a little more, tuck the elbows and lower. Find your back bend of choice. Shoulders roll away from the ears. Reverse push up or tabletop. Downward dog. All right, let's find that three-legged dog on the other side. Left foot reaches up towards the sky. So remember, listen to your body. Only do what feels good. Bending the left knee, opening the hips to the left side, squaring the shoulders to the earth. Maybe you look under the right armpit towards the left foot. Keep your breath flowing. All right, finding that three-legged dog. Downward dog. This time, shift your weight forward, come into tabletop pose. And then we're going to come into a puppy. So we keep the hips over top of the knees, also known as heart knocking pose. And then we walk the arms out long. So if the head doesn't come all the way to the earth, maybe you find a block to place underneath the forehead. And melt the heart down towards the earth. Two more rounds of breath here. And then we're going to make our way back into our tabletop. Back into downward dog. And then walk, step, or hop your feet forward towards your hands. Forward fold. Allowing your hands to come to your waist, finding length in your spine, and come on up with a flat back. All right, mountain pose near the top of your mat. Squeezing the inner thighs towards center. Shoulders roll back and down, crown of the head reaches high. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. We're going to come into warrior one, stepping the left foot back behind us. Toes point up towards the top left corner of the mat. Nice wide stance. Squeeze the inner thighs to rise. Shoulders soften. So we're going to be making our way around the mat, a couple different directions. So right now you're facing the front of your mat. Then later I'll be turning us around and that will be the back of the mat, just for cues, okay? So squaring the hips towards the front of the room or front of your mat. Okay, and then we're gonna open up to warrior two. Left foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Front heel intersects with the middle of the back foot. Bending into the front knee. Soften the shoulders, looking over the front hand. We're going to find a star pose. So arms reach up towards the sky, turning the toes so they're pointing towards the top corners of the mat, or I guess the sides of the mat. And then we turn to a warrior two towards the back of the mat. So right foot comes parallel with the short edge. Okay, and then we're gonna turn towards the back of the mat into that warrior one. You'll have to reset your feet, squaring the hips towards the back of the mat. Almost said front. And exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Front foot meets the back. Front, back, sorry. The left foot meets the right in a plank pose. And make your way down to the earth. Find your back bend of choice. Push up or dog. Making your way towards your hands into a forward fold. So you're facing backwards now. And on your next inhale, reverse swan dive up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. So we're going to find warrior one, stepping with the left foot behind you once again. Squeezing the inner thighs to rise. And a couple rounds of breath here. All right, because we're going in a circle, you're going to see my back. Totally okay though, right? All right, warrior two towards the back of the mat. Left foot comes parallel with the short edge of the mat. Bend into the front knee. Looking over the right hand. Inhale, find star pose. Exhale, warrior two towards the front of the mat. Right foot's parallel with the short edge of the mat. We're going to turn our hips forward, reposition our feet, warrior one. All right, exhale, hands come down to frame the left foot. Step back into your plank. You can come right into downward dog or move through a vinyasa. So shifting forward, coming to the earth. Finding your back bend of choice. And then coming back into downward dog. All right. Walk or step your feet towards your hands. And on your next inhale, reverse swan dive up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we have another side. Making our way around one more time, other way. Mountain pose. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold, stepping the right foot back, warrior one. How are we doing? All right, warrior two, right foot comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. Inhale into your star pose. And exhale, warrior two towards the back of the mat. We're turning our bodies towards the back of the mat, repositioning the feet, warrior one. Windmilling the hands down to the earth, either finding downward dog or flowing through a vinyasa. Once you have made your way into downward dog, walking your feet or stepping towards your hands, forward fold. And on your next inhale, reverse swan dive up, extended mountain. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right, back the other way. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, stepping the right foot back, warrior one. Squeeze the inner thighs to rise. Beautiful. Finding warrior two, right foot parallel with the short edge of the mat. So we're warrior two towards the back of the mat. On your inhale, find star pose. Exhale, warrior two towards the front of the mat. Turning your body towards the front of the mat, reposition the feet, warrior one. I don't think there's really a graceful way to do that. Just kind of got to step into it. All right, hands frame the front foot, either downward dog or flow through your vinyasa. All right, from downward dog, making your way towards the front of your mat, forward fold. Okay, and then we're going to come into halfway lift and shift the hips back, coming into a chair pose or thunderbolt. No, thunderbolt, is that on the knees? Yoga teacher doesn't know. I don't remember. Sitting the hips back. So notice if you have a deep bend in the low back, you want to send the tailbone down just a little bit. Shift your weight into your heels. One more round of breath here. And then exhale, forward fold. We're going to take a step back into warrior one with the left foot. Squeeze to rise. And here's our balance for today. Warrior three. Sending the hands back behind you, crown of the head reaches high with a flat back, hinge forward from the waist, or from the hips, sorry. Shifting your weight into your right foot, push the foot into the earth, lift the left. So we want to point the toes of the left foot down towards the earth. One more round of breath. Woo. And then we're gonna find mountain pose, stepping the back foot forward. Inhale, mountain, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Fierce pose. Exhale, chair or fierce pose. You would come to me. So we want to lift the heart so that it's our chest is facing forward. Exhale to forward fold. This time, warrior one, stepping the right foot back. Squaring the hips towards the front of the mat. The same thing as before. We'll shift the arms behind us, lengthen the spine, hinge forward from the hips, draw the belly button in. Shift your weight forward and push into that left foot to lift. So we imagine that inner right thigh is rotating up towards the sky, pointing the toes down towards the floor. Warrior three. One day I should do a class on all the warriors and the meaning behind them. One more round of breath. And then find your mountain pose. How are we doing? Who's that? Okay, ready? Mountain. Almost all the hard work is done. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. All right, from here, let's walk the feet out towards the long edges of the mat. We're gonna find a squat. So turning the toes out on the feet out on an angle, and then find your variation of squat. If you need to, you can always find a blanket. My blanket's not quite long enough. Folded or rolled blanket to come underneath the heels. All right, and then we bring our hands to heart center. Use the elbows to push the knees away. Standing up nice and tall. All right, ready? We're gonna come back into seated. If it's comfortable, come right from here. Bring the arms out and slowly lower down. And guess what? It wouldn't be a water salutation or a water class without a boat pose. Sitting up nice and tall. Sorry, Chad. Crown of that reaches high. We're gonna maybe bring the arms out in front. Perhaps one foot comes up and maybe both. Couple more rounds of breath here. And then very, very slowly, make your way down onto your back. Use your core to come down nice and slow. All right, and a twist to end. Let's find this variation here of a twist. So we're gonna cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So this right foot's gonna be kind of like a weight for the left leg, allowing the legs to drop over towards the right side. You may have to reposition that left foot, totally fine. Find a place that feels good. If this does not feel like enough for you, maybe instead you cross your legs at the knees. We'll bring the arms out to the sides, palms face up towards the sky, and reconnect to your breath. Maybe it's that Ujjayi breath. Or maybe it's just that continuous flow, the wave of the breath. Inhaling, allowing the breath to wash over you. Exhale, allowing it to float away or wash away. On your next inhale, allowing your legs to come back up to center, uncrossing the legs and repositioning the back flat on the earth. Whenever you're ready, we'll find the other side, left ankle over right thigh, allowing the legs to drop to the left. Find what feels good for you on this side. Once this side feels complete for you, allowing the knees to come back to center, uncrossing the legs. Find a final shape here, resting on the earth. Could be lying down, maybe it's seated, whatever you are the most comfortable with. And then perhaps bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your diaphragm once again. And just notice. What do you feel in your body? How does your breath feel? Noticing what's going on in the mind. No judgment. And feel that connection to your breath. And while you're here, I'd like to share with you some of the qualities of water that we can use in our lives. Water cleanses. As water passes through the channels or its channels, it takes out the old and makes way for the new. Water reflects. In still water, we can see our reflection. Water is dynamic and flows. We must flow through our life to avoid stagnation. Water nourishes and lubricates. Without water, we dry and perish. Water unifies. We are one drop in the ocean of life. Remember, you are part of the whole. Power is gained from collaboration and support from the collective whole. Water is flexible. It takes the shape of its container. For us to grow and evolve, we must learn to mold with what life is presenting. Water is patient and persistent. It finds the path of least resistance. And finally, water stays true. Water to ice, ice to water. It comes back to its true self. And gently bringing your awareness back into your space. Perhaps making some small movements in your body. Whenever you're ready, rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. And then gently making your way up to seated. And once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. Connecting to the breath once again. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful evening.